So this faculty of being able to work with our own brilliance, our own superpowers, is really the conflict that we're now experiencing. It's not a conflict out here, it's a conflict inside. And how do we resolve that? That's where our dreaming comes in. For Tesla, he used concentration to devise a series of mental operations as a remedy for his affliction. By 17, his mastery of visualization was so highly developed that he could create complete models of devices in his mind, building them and running them as if they were real. This is the true merge to me. I so admire and respect Tesla. The true and amazing superpower when art and science come together, when the left and the right brain works together as a whole, so that the mind is liberated. Everybody's talking about freedom and liberation. That's what they want, right? So that freedom and liberation comes within when we merge all of our powers into a concentrated form. This is what he learned to do. He learned to do it because he had to survive, because he was having images and pictures that he didn't know when they would come, what they would be of, or what to do about it. He saw the accident with his brother before it happened, but there was no way that he could stop it. Maybe you've never been in that position, and maybe you have. I was in those positions from the time I was very young. And it does drive you to use more of your potential. And what's exciting to me is that when you don't have those afflictions, then you can choose to develop those without so much duress. But the pressure indeed does drive us. And so Tesla was imagining, he was visualizing, moving from concentration through meditation to visualizing and being able to really harness the power of his mind. And that's what made him so brilliant. Tesla pushed his own limits, learning that what makes each of us unique is our vibratory pattern. Each of us is a unique set of DNA codes that are lit up in certain ways because the subconscious mind, which is a greater power, is driving the physical vehicle, the body. It's similar to you as a computer programmer turning on your computer, and the computer will work according to what programs are there. Well, your brain does the same thing. According to the programs in the brain, that's how you interact. Those programs can be updated, they can be upgraded, they can be taken off, they can be replaced. That's the freedom that we're now realizing is really our superpower. It's the freedom to convert energy. What enables us to communicate is the transference of energy we send and receive through thoughts, words, and actions. This is the great energy boom right now, the nuclear energy that's everywhere, that has nothing to do with bombs and destruction, has everything to do with what for ages has been called enlightenment. Enlightenment is everywhere, so much that we're blinded, we're overwhelmed by it. So to be able to know how to appreciate shadows, how to appreciate the darkness, how to appreciate the night, how to preserve our sleeping is so essential now. We don't have that skill and we need to build it in. What makes us strong or weak is the frequency of the interaction between our vibration and energy, between our day and our night, between male and female, young and old, rich and poor, all of the kinds of polarities that we can think of that exist in our world, the contrast. If we think of it as contrast, if we think of it as art and as beauty, then we don't have so many difficulties with the diversity around us. We're not so quick to judge. We're not so quick to want things to change. We can have that sense of gratitude that's talked about so much now, and appreciation. We can, in reality, receive one another because we can receive ourselves. So the vibration, the vibratory pattern is like, I like you. The transfer of energy is like, would you like to go to dinner, read a book with me, attend a webinar? And the frequency then, the beat, the rhythm, the pattern is, can we go out again? Basic relationship terms between you and I, between people. This is what Tesla was talking about. when we admit that our own vibrational frequency at any given moment determines what we perceive as reality in our lives. In other words, what we're willing to see. Are we willing to see the good in everyone and in every situation? Are we willing to call that forth from ourselves? Because it does begin with us. So who we are and what we do intersect. We're close to admitting that our vibe, our vibratory pattern, our vibration is what makes all the difference. Makes all the difference within us. And it makes all the difference in how we look at the world and each other. The historical note here, in this presentation, I was scheduled to do it through the UP Convergence 2020 at a specific time on Friday morning. When I went to the link that I was given, another group was meeting that was fascinating. And so I, after I got over my initial reaction of panic and fight, flight, fright, freeze, and I calmed those instincts and moved them into a strategic intuition, I began to observe. At first, I wanted to know if I was in the wrong room, so I need to take care of all that, right? So that was the first response. Then when I went as far as I could there, then I went back to the same room and I began to listen, and it was a wonderful presentation about compassionate games, primarily with children in India. It was absolutely stunning. And because I could embrace that, I could open myself to that reality, to that goodness, I was blessed. It reminded me of when I was a part of dedicating the world's first intentional peace dome in the heartland of the United States. We had people on all 7 continents, including Antarctica, reading the Universal Peace Covenant with us. And that's going to be pretty important here in a second. There was a Montessori school in Lucknow, India, that had over 20,000 students in it that read the covenant with us that day. And that school still is in existence now, and it has almost 40,000 students, I believe now, which is phenomenal. So how much does one person mean? Everything. How does all people mean? Everything. Thich Nhat Hanh talks about that. It's the new Maitreya.